All right, our last regression equation is relating to some information that might be particularly salient for some of us as we're getting ready to head home over the holidays, or taking advantage of the break to take off on an adventure somewhere. And that is looking at flight delay times and using them to make a prediction about arrival delays. So we're going to use, again, a StatsCrunch output. We're going to use that to write a regression equation, and then we're going to use that equation to predict the best arrival time, the best arrival delay time for a flight that has a departure delay of 20 minutes. So let's take a look at what we've got here. Here's the output I've put together for you. So here we go through and we're looking at this. Of course, first we need to be taking a look and asking ourselves if this is going to be a good regression equation to use in the first place. And with an R of 0.917, yes, this is going to be a strong relationship. So we're going to have a lot of confidence in this particular regression equation. And as we go through and look here, we can see that we're given our y-intercept and our slope. So pause the video here for a moment and go through and write out this equation for yourself, and then turn the video back on and we'll check it together. You should have gotten a negative 18.4 plus 0.90, actually it should be 0.903 times Rx. Okay, so that's what we're looking at there. And so if we're going to come over and we're going to use that equation to do our calculations. So let's take this, and now we're going to plug in we've got our y-intercept of negative 18.4. We've got our slope of 0.903, and we're going to add in our x of 20. So we add that in, we get roughly negative 0.4. So that would be our answer for this particular problem. And so if we're leaving at a departure delay of 20 minutes, I actually have a decent likelihood of getting there 0.4 minutes early. So let's take a look at that with our data. So here is our flight delay times predicting out with our regression line. And if we look at this, we plot our data point, we're going to see actually it's a pretty good prediction when we're looking at this one. That's not too far away from our regression line. Now we can also tell a couple of other things when we're looking at these scatter plots. So notice down here on the bottom left-hand corner, we've got a lot of variables dotted together. So my delay time is not actually a really good predictor right about there in terms of my arrival time. So actually it's really interesting. I have a friend of mine who is a professional pilot, and one of the things that she told me is that they actually make arrangements and modifications for this. So first of all, your arrival time is predicted to actually be a little bit later than what they think you might make it there as in, so that gives them some flexibility. Also, as planes are coming in, if somebody actually left a delay and they're possible at the tower managing the landing, they may actually bring them in early out of their regular order in order to try to make sure that people are getting off and making their connecting flights as best as possible. So anywhere from having, if we're looking at this, to leaving a little bit early, going all the way up to about 20 minutes or so is a delay, you can see you get a pretty variable option of getting there on time, early, or late. It's not very much, it's a lot of different variation in there. However, what really draws this line is the delay times after about 20 minutes. So once we start looking at like 30 minutes, we can see that, yeah, pretty much now you're simply going to have a delayed arrival time. They've used up that buffer zone that they have of about 20 minutes to be able to get you in on time. And so once you've hit about a 30-minute departure delay, you're going to start being late for your arrival. So this is some of the different things we can use when we're looking at the data and be able to extrapolate out, both in terms of our regression line and then going and looking at the patterns that we see here in terms to understand what actually happens as we're making a flight pattern. So this is the end of our lecture for using regression equations. On both your homeworks and on the exam readiness and the exam, you're going to be required to be able to choose the best predictor for the y. So you're going to have to be able to use your flowchart, and you're going to have to be able to either use a regression equation that you're given or choose to use the mean of the value y. So those will be the problems that you need to solve on both your homework, the exam readiness, and the last exam 4.